Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ConnectALL product demonstration webinar. My name is Soumya Menon. I head marketing communications at ConnectALL, and I'll be your moderator for today. I'm pleased to introduce you to our speakers for this webinar, Andrew Fuqua, VP of Products, and Andy Salo, Senior Solutions Architect. So before we get started, I'll run through some housekeeping points. Firstly, today's webinar will be available on demand after the live session, so we will send you the links later. Next, we'd love to hear from you during today's presentation. So if you have any questions during the session, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel, and we will bring them up after the presentation. We will have time for Q&A at the end. And lastly, we'd like to encourage you to share today's webinar with your teams and social networks. So without further ado, I'm handing it over to Andrew and Andy.
Hey, thanks, Soumya. I appreciate that introduction. This is Andrew Fuqua, as introduced earlier. I appreciate you, Soumya, for setting up this opportunity for Andy and I to share what we have on our minds today. The first thing, I'm just thrilled to announce support for Cherwell Service Management and the ConnectALL integration platform. Cherwell is an ITSM tool, and it's helping organizations start practicing ITIL. And people who are using this to improve their service delivery across their organization, they're finding that it's customizable, it's easy to use, robust. And I like Cherwell's mission statement, which is to eliminate friction and make work flow. And that's what I subscribe to as well at ConnectALL. It's making things easy and making work flow and integrating these systems. Many of our customers are using Cherwell and wanted to include Cherwell in their overall value stream integration program as well. So I'm happy to be able to oblige that in our product. And Andy's going to be showing an integration that's going to include Cherwell in a few minutes. But there's a couple of things I wanted to highlight in this webinar beyond support for Cherwell. And the main thing is just the notion of end-to-end value stream integration. You know, there's all kinds of point-to-point options for integrating various tools, but stringing together several independent point-to-point integrations might not be the best option for you. You may end up with like a mismatch of separate integrations, and when you do that, the whole value stream can be kind of hard to understand or hard to debug and hard to support, and frankly, silently expensive. Each individual integration may seem cheap, but collectively can be more costly than anyone realizes or can measure because of the hidden cost of the different ways that they work. So it's a good practice to think through the whole value stream, how work flows from idea to requirement to work item to test case to defect and back to test case to build to deployment to operations, to change control, to support. Think through all that to ensure you've thought through how the work moves through these systems, what data needs to flow, who will do the work, who's going to be alerted, how you prioritize and identify various classes of services or sources of intake, who's got visibility to what, and like how conflicts will be detected and addressed. So many integration projects fail because they focus just exclusively on those technical mechanics of moving data from one system to another, but they fail to address the end-to-end process and how it affects real people and how they do their jobs. So my key point is to not let your integration or your value stream integration grow haphazardly, but to be intentional about managing your value stream and the flow of work through it. And it's much easier, in my opinion, to do this with the ConnectALL integration platform than it would be with a handful of disjoint alternatives that work independently and are each configured differently. So when you engage with ConnectALL, we help you think through these issues and design a holistic solution to your value stream integration. And so we're eager to help you think through these issues and design a good solution. And so that brings us to the demo that Andy's going to walk us through. And so without further ado, Andy, can I turn it over to you?
Absolutely, and thank you for the introduction, Andrew. Appreciate that. And I too share Andrew's excitement in this integration. And thank you, Soumya, too. As Soumya said, I am a solutions architect with ConnectALL. And today I'm going to discuss why integration in organizations today is important. I will then give a brief overview of what ConnectALL is and the benefits that it can provide your organization. Next, I will show a simple common integration use case that ConnectALL supports. And I'll also give a demo of the ConnectALL integration platform in action, showing integration between the tools Cherwell, Jira, and ALM. And to end, I will show how simple it is to set up and configure an integration using the ConnectALL integration platform. So in today's organizations, the work that we perform as software professionals exists in many, many tools. These disparate tools, systems, applications that we interact with are often siloed from each other. For every function and role within a company, there seems to be a specialty tool for it. Tools such as Cherwell for ITSM functions, version 1, Jira, JAMA for project management and issue tracking, Micro Focus ALM for quality assurance, Salesforce for CRM, even source control tools like Subversion and Bitbucket, Jenkins for automation, CI/CD. This list just goes on and on. And not to mention the managers, support desk personnel, developers, operations people who use these many, many tools. So as you can see in this graphic, this leads to a kind of spider web of tools and roles that can become quite daunting to work with, let alone pull your needed data from. So this is where the ConnectALL integration platform can help. So as you can see here, ConnectALL will help you unravel and bring order to this tangled mess by intelligently moving data between your systems. ConnectALL doesn't replace the systems that are working for you, it connects them. Users are able to continue to operate within the systems that they choose, while ConnectALL automatically manages the data and the processes around that. The ConnectALL integration platform is designed to unify your people, process, and tools, starting from ideation and to deployment and beyond. When unification occurs, the benefits pile up, such as end-to-end traceability, visibility across your life cycle. Teams and stakeholders now have insight into data that may not have been available to them before. Common information can be shared across a broad range of ALM applications and tools, allowing the integration of these applications into a seamless workflow. Let's next discuss the goals and some more benefits of integration and ConnectALL. So with ConnectALL, the benefits are many. No more cutting and pasting and manual rework as data is synchronized between tools. Users will now be able to work in their enterprise tool of choice to focus on value-added tasks rather than spending their time logging in and out of multiple applications. When these such bottlenecks are removed, time to value will improve as workflow and process automation is realized. Collaboration increases as data is now seamlessly integrated between tools at a speed faster than any manual method. Increased productivity leads to cost reductions. These are all the benefits of now having a connected and linked tool chain. Having described these benefits, let's talk about what ConnectALL is. So the ConnectALL integration platform is designed with minimal impact in mind. It is standalone, has a small footprint, so there's no need to disrupt your existing tools and systems, any sort of plugins. Setup is code-free, and visually configured via a web interface. It supports the integration of both your cloud and on-premise applications. And we also offer both cloud or on-premise installation of the ConnectALL platform itself. Currently, we have support for over 35 plus tools and applications. As an organization, you'll decide what tools and artifact types you'd like to integrate. And we found in practice the whiteboarding and meetings to decide what you like to synchronize actually takes longer than the actual ConnectALL setup and configuration itself. So once it's set up and running, your integrations will automatically process in the background with no user intervention required. So it's designed to be set it and forget it. Once set up, monitoring is minimal, if any, required. So before we get into demoing the product, I'd like to show you just a visual representation of a very simple use case of a ConnectALL integration. So here a Jira user would enter a new bug to report a broken web link. This bug is recognized by ConnectALL, which then replicates this bug over to VSTS, where the team allocates it to a sprint for the development team to work on. So the development team now has a task on their board to be worked on. And when this work item is completed, ConnectALL will create a test artifact to be assigned to the QA testing team in Micro Focused ALM. And it will also update the original bug in Jira. So the QA team will now test this work item. Once it passes testing, ConnectALL will be triggered to close all the related artifacts. Though this is just one of the multitude of use cases that ConnectALL can support based on an organization's requirements and workflow needs. Having shown that, let's go ahead and show a demonstration of ConnectALL synchronizing between Cherwell, Jira, and ALM, and how simple it is to set up and configure an integration using ConnectALL. So the first thing I'd like to do is create a problem in Cherwell. I will go, so let me end the PowerPoint here and bring up Cherwell. Okay, so let me kind of paint a scenario for you. So Bob, our ITSM supervisor, logged into his enterprise tool, ITSM tool, Cherwell, and he notices that, let's go to the dashboard here. Nope, expired. Simply log back in.
Hate it when that happens.
It does happen sometimes. So we're in our dashboard. Let's go look at the incidents we have. We have 3 total incidents. So Bob, like I said, our ITSM supervisor, logs into his enterprise ITSM tool, Cherwell, notices 3 new incidents have been created by his team today, which are all related to the same issue. Here's our 3 incidents. Multiple internal customers are calling in to log incidents that the install of MS Office is all failing on their laptops. So having this information, Bob decides that it would be appropriate to open a problem ticket at this time and link these incidents in Cherwell to this new problem ticket. So let's go ahead and we'll open a new problem, or Bob will, in Cherwell. So we already have a new problem ticket. Let's go ahead and go to the incidents tab here, and we will find those incidents and go ahead and link them to this problem. So we go search for MS Office. Here's our 3 incidents. There's one linked. Number 2. And boom, number 3. So now we have our 3 incidents linked. So let's go back to the overview tab in the problem and go ahead and start creating our problem. We'll say multiple customers are seeing their MS Office install fail. We'll give it a description. There seems to be a problem with this installation script. We'll go ahead and give that a priority down here of 4. and go ahead and save this. Okay, so Bob's created his problem. So now that he's logged this problem with MS Office that he's been seeing, or his team has been seeing, ConnectALL will recognize that a new problem has been created in Cherwell and sync this problem over to Jira for the development team to work on. So let's go over to our ConnectALL dashboard and we can monitor this. So this is our ConnectALL activity monitor window. Click this little icon here and it monitors. It's the auto refresh icon. It'll monitor activity in real time. We have this polling cycle set up to check every 1 minute. So ConnectALL will say, hey, Cherwell, are there any problems that I should be aware of that I should sync over to Jira? Okay, so our new records were created. So if we go over to Jira, we'll see a new bug has been created by ConnectALL and is now ready to be reviewed by the development team. So let's do that. Okay, so here is our new problem that's synced over to Jira for review by the development team. We have our description, our title, we have our priority set as low. So the developer will actually review this bug and says, well, gee whiz, this is important. I need to work on a fix for this ASAP. Bob's not happy. So the developer can go in and he'll change the priority from low to lowest, or excuse me, sorry, this is important, low to highest. Go ahead and save that. And I'll also add a comment. We will look into this right away. Can you please add an attachment showing the failure? Go ahead and add that. Okay, so now that that Jira bug has been updated with the developer's comments and priority change, this will now sync back over to the Cherwell problem. So let's go back into the ConnectALL dashboard and monitor that. Okay, there's our record updated. So let's go back over to Cherwell and see these updates. So if we hit refresh, so there's our priority change to 1, highest in the problem. And if we go into the journal, so here's our attachment that we added. We'll look into this right away. Can you please add an attachment showing the failure? We sure can do that. So let's go ahead. Bob saw this and said, well, let me get an attachment from one of my ITSM guys, and we will sync or add that to the Cherwell problem. So let's do that. Our MS Office failure screenshot, very technical here, as you can see. Okay, we added that. Let's go ahead and save it. Okay, it's been saved. We'll go back to the ConnectALL dashboard and monitor that.
Just while we're waiting for this to sync, I thought I'd interject, if you don't mind, that of course the end users, Bob and the developer, they're not looking at the ConnectALL dashboard. We're just doing that to kill time, to let us know when the sync is done. This ConnectALL just sits in the background. It's always silently syncing. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to have somebody watching it or monitoring it all the time. But if you do want to go look at it, it's got some interesting information there.
Yep, well said, Andrew. And I mean, we also, during this demo, we also like to show, some of the functionality of the tool and how it works. But yeah, exactly what Andrew said. You won't be monitoring this. The users won't be monitoring this. Okay, so let's go see, let's do a refresh here back in the Jira bug. And here's our attachment. Synced over from the Jira problem, or excuse the Jira problem to the Jira bug. Okay, so like I said, we're also integrating with ALM. So while we've been working on the Cherwell problem and this Jira bug that we're looking at, the problem was also created in ALM as a defect. And this was to alert the QA team that it will need to be tested when a fix is available. So let's go see that in ALM. Yep, so here you see our problem also synced over to ALM, which is good. We'll see that the updates that were made in Jira and went over to Cherwell and vice versa were also synced over to ALM. We have our attachment here that Bob just added. We also have our comment that the Jira developer had asked, looking for that screenshot. So now that I've shown this integration in action, let's go ahead and bring up the ConnectALL user interface and just show how simple it is to create this integration. So let's go over to our ConnectALL main home screen. On the left side here is where you would define the two applications that you would like to integrate. Simply choose your applications from the endpoints here, which would be, in this case, it would be Cherwell, and Atlassian and Jira. Then you just provide a simple link name here, something that's meaningful. But for this demo, I've already created a application link. So I'll go ahead and load it from the list of saved application links here to the right of the screen. So here we have our application link tab. I'm going to go into edit mode for this application link just to show you how easy it was to set this application link up in this integration. So creating an integration is really just a simple three-step process. The first step is under this configuration tab we have here. This is where you define the servers that you are connecting to your endpoints. In this case, Cherwell and Jira. So we define the URLs for those and also provide the authentication credentials for ConnectALL to log into the servers. Very simple. And the second step is to identify the entity types to be integrated. We can integrate any entity type within a repository. That includes, as you can see here, Cherwell problems, user stories, tasks, test cases, any object from the 35 plus supported tools, and that includes any custom objects you may have. And for Cherwell, we're going to choose problem here. And for Jira, we've chosen bug. And finally, we go over to the field mapping tab, and we want to identify the fields and choose the fields to be mapped. It's really just simply a point and click exercise. All the available fields for each application entity type that we are integrating are shown here, and all you have to do is choose the fields to be mapped to each other. For example, you could choose created date time in Cherwell. Let me find that. There it is. And we'll find another date field in Jira, for example, CA date time. You would choose your data flow direction. You can do bi-directional, unidirectional is supported too. So you simply click the plus sign and it is added to the list of map fields here on the bottom. Simple as that. And that's really all there is to setting up an integration. Oh, I'm sorry. One thing I wanted to also point out is that we support value mapping. So if we click on priority here, we have a priority in Cherwell mapped to priority in Jira. To the right here, you'll see we have specific values mapped to each other. And you'll notice that they will not always match exactly, and they don't have to be in order for them to be mapped. But we also do support this. Just wanted to point that out. And like I had said, that's really all there is to setting up an integration. Since we also had an integration between Cherwell and ALM, the process I just ran through, the simple 3-step process, would be the same for creating an integration between Cherwell and ALM. So now that we've completed our 3-step setup process, we'd simply go back to our home screen, enable our new application link. ConnectALL is now running in the background and monitoring the endpoints we've identified for any changes to synchronize. Simple as that. Like I said, it's simple, easy setup to set this up in ConnectALL and see your critical data synchronizing between your applications. So in this demo, I've shown you an integration between Cherwell, Jira, and ALM, and data synchronizing between these 3 applications. I've also shown you how easy it is to set up and configure ConnectALL. So that completes my demonstration of the ConnectALL platform. I'd like to turn the presentation back over to Andrew.
Hey, thanks, Andy. We got a few questions that if you can help me field these, I'd appreciate it. The first one is, I answered it online, but I'll go ahead and read it. So it says, hi, if I'm purchasing the ConnectALL add-on to integrate Jira and ServiceNow, will I get the ConnectALL monitoring application to monitor? And also, shall I need to install the monitoring portal as additional as an application or service? So I'll field that one, and then I'll let you field the next one, Andy.
Sure.
So one thing to keep in mind is that ConnectALL isn't a plugin, or it's not an add-on to ServiceNow or Cherwell or Jira or ALM. It's a separate integration platform that sits in the background and connects these systems. So we can host that, and you could license it as a software as a service, or if you preferred to host it yourself, you could install it as and license it as an on-prem install. And the license does include the monitoring and the configuration interface that Andy showed towards the end of his demo.
Correct.
Okay. Next question is, the next one is, if I'm in Jira, how can I tell if some defect came over from Cherwell? Can you field that one, Andy?
Yeah, I can certainly field that one. You can be, if you'll see that when it comes over, one of the things a lot of customers like to do is we can create a custom field in Jira and Cherwell to pass the unique ID of the record. For example, let's say in this case it was the problem in Cherwell to Jira. So you would create, for example, a custom field in Jira called Cherwell ID, and when it syncs over for the first time, it'll pass that Cherwell ID to Jira. So really that helps with the traceability and easily being to track down what the ID is in the system that you're syncing with. And same thing when that Jira record is created, it'll sync the Jira ID back to that Cherwell problem. That's what a lot of customers like to do. We can either just pass the ID, and we've even seen people, and it's very simple to do, is sync an actual link to each ID rather than just the ID itself. So it's simple as clicking on that, and it will bring up your record in each endpoint system.
Right, passing the whole URL over of the,
right.
Of the problem.
That's
or
right.
That's cool. Okay, got one more question, and that is uh, if I create a new defect in ALM, will that always create something in Cherwell?
Not necessarily. That is really up to the customer and how they like to integrate. I mean, it's really up to the customer how they want to do this. We can certainly create an app link that goes directly from Jira to ALM, and I'm just using this demo as an example. Or we can actually just, as you saw, we had two links where it actually flows from Jira or from Cherwell to Jira and Jira to ALM separately, but we can set it up however the customer wants to. If they would like it to flow directly between Jira and ALM, we can do that too. So it's very easy to set that up according to the customer's specifications and needs.
Okay, thank you, Andy. So we're kind of at the end of our time box, and that is the last question I have. Soumya, can we turn this back over to you?
Sure. Thank you so much, Andrew and Andy. That's all the time we have. So please do check our website for more webinars every month. I thank you all for joining this session and hope to see you all again.
Thank you, everyone.